Hey everybody, it's Chelsea. Today we're going to be doing a before bed flow. So if you have trouble sleeping, this is going to be a really great kind of express flow that you can do right before bed. You can do it comfy. I would recommend, if you have any props, grab a blanket, and this can be any blanket in your house, just something to have to kind of squish upon, you know. And then if you have a block can be helpful in some of these poses to make them a little more restorative. Since we are doing it before bed, we don't want to do too much of a power pose. So having these props can really help add a restorative element to your yoga that you do before bed. And then if you have a strap, or even if you don't have a strap, just if you have a t-shirt or a sweatshirt or something that you can wrap around your leg, just in case things are a little tight. These are things you can just have nearby, just in case you need them. They're not required. If you don't have any of these things, that's okay. You can still totally do this flow. It's not really a flow. You can still do these yoga poses before bed, and you're still gonna get the benefits. It's just those are a little extra that can kind of help you maybe add even more of a restorative element to this little yoga class. So to start out, before we actually get moving, make yourself really comfortable. So get cozy, put on your comfy socks, maybe light some candles. If you have a diffuser, you know, diffuse something like lavender before bed. That can be really great, really calming. And then coming to your mat, we're gonna start out in child's pose. So take your knees wide onto the mat. Let your hips settle back onto your heels and just start to walk your hands out in front of you, letting your forehead settle here onto the floor. And just start to breathe deeply here. Maybe rock the forehead a little bit from side to side on the mat. Even take the hips a little bit side to side. And then settle at the center. And just begin to find an equal breath pace. Inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold for 1 second at the top, and exhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold at the bottom of your exhale for 1. Again, inhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. Inhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. And continue to breathe just like this. Start to move around just a little bit. Again, maybe rocking the head from side to side or taking the hips a little side to side. And slowly rise up to tabletop position. Walk the knees in underneath your hips, wrists underneath your shoulders. Spread your fingertips wide so you can ground and just kind of shift a little front to back. And coming back to the center of your mat, tuck your toes, lifting your hips all the way up and back, downward facing dog. Maybe pedal out your heels here a little bit. Continuing to breathe deeply, in and out through the nose. And then holding still at the center of your down dog, shake your head out yes, shake it no. Looking forward, step your right foot to the outside of your right hand. So it's going to be a little wide here. And then just allow the left knee to come to the mat, untucking your left toes. This is a really good spot to use your props. So I like to put a blanket underneath my knee because I have kind of sensitive knees, but it just adds a little bit of a cushiness. So if you want, that's just an option. And then you can stay here, right here, just kind of on the palms, feeling out this openness in the hips, nothing too crazy. And then if you want, bringing that block, if you have it, or even if you have a big pillow that you want to put underneath you, you can bring that underneath and just bring your forearms down to the block for your lizard pose. Just relaxing here. And then slowly starting to make your way back up. Go ahead and take the block out of the way. Palms come back to the floor. To come out of this, just tuck your back toes, lift your back knee up, and step your right foot all the way back to down dog. You can leave your blanket there if you like using it. I just might move it over a little bit since we're going to be going to the other side. Settling in your down dog, looking forward this time, step your left foot to the outside of your left hand. That might take more than one step, and that's okay. And then just letting the right knee come down to the floor. Same thing here, you could stay here and just kind of breathe into it. If you want, you can come to a block. The block can help you go a little higher if the hips are tighter, and if you want to go a little lower, if the hips have a little more openness. Again, it's okay if you don't have a block, you can just stay on the palms or even use a big pillow if you have one. Take 5 more breaths. Slowly to come out of it, coming back to the palms, removing the block out of the way, tucking your back toes, and then stepping your left foot all the way back to downward facing dog. Now at this time, if you have a blanket, just kind of scooch it out of the way if you have it. And then looking forward, you're just going to gently walk your feet, just little steps all the way to the front of your mat to meet your hands. Come into a halfway lift, flat back. Spine is long, crown of your head reaching forward. And then exhale, bend your knees, grab onto opposite elbows, and just sway side to side. After swaying a couple times, just settle at the center and just kind of hang, making sure the crown of your head is aimed towards the floor, so you're just lengthening the entire spine. Take as much or as little of a bend in the knees as you want. You can even kind of bend and extend and see where that edge is for you. Take 5 nice full breaths in and out. Gently release. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your palms, step back to a high plank pose, and then just dropping your knees down to the mat, slowly lower elbows in as you bring your belly down to the floor, hips down to the floor. Moving into Cobra, bringing your palms so that they rest underneath the shoulders, index fingers facing forward. Hug your elbows in towards the sides of your rib cage, and then activate your legs, press the tops of the feet into the floor. Lift the chest up off the mat. Keep shoulders out of the ears, so no crunching up here, but release them down the back. Keeping your belly button pulled in, elbows hug in by your sides. And then we're just gonna roll through the spine. So inhale, slowly rolling down. Keeping elbows in the whole time and then pressing up. Bringing it down. And up, one more. Down. And up. And then slowly bring the hips all the way up, coming into tabletop for just a moment. Making sure wrists are under shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Inhale, reach your right arm to the sky. On an exhale, thread the right arm underneath your left armpit, laying onto your right shoulder. You can take your left hand and just walk it forward, or you can bring it up and wrap it behind your back. Nothing too intense here though. Let it be nice and gentle. It should be relaxing. Continuing to breathe deeply. Release your left palm back down, pressing up on the inhale, right arm rises. And release, exhale. Other side, inhale, left arm reaches. Exhale, thread the left arm underneath the right armpit, laying onto the shoulder, onto the cheek. Maybe walk the left hand forward or bring it up and around. Deep breaths. Bring the right palm back underneath you. Rise up on the inhale. Exhale, tabletop. From here, cross your ankles and just walk back, or walk yourself back onto your seat. And then scooching yourself a little more back forward on your mat, I'm going to turn to face you guys. Finding a butterfly pose. So take the soles of your feet together, knees out wide. Maybe take a little bit wider of a butterfly than maybe you normally would, because we're going to try and keep the lower back kind of relaxed here. So the further your heels are in, the more you're getting into the kind of groin and inner thigh area. But we're going to take our feet out a little wider, so we have a big diamond. Inhale to sit up tall, lift through the crown of your head, bringing your shoulders back, and then start to melt your chest forward towards your feet. And you're just moving in this direction. You may stop before I stop. If things are a little tighter, you may be up here, and that's okay. Just release, finding whatever your edge is in your forward fold, and then release the head down. Take 5 breaths here. You may notice that as you breathe, you can go a little bit deeper. That might or might not be the case. Either way, just stay with the breath. Inhale slowly to rise. From here, bringing your knees back together in the center of your mat. I'm going to go back to facing long ways. From here, moving into Janu Sirsasana. So it's a one-legged stretch. So taking your left leg out long, bring your right foot into your left thigh. This is a great place to use your block or even a blanket. You can experiment and see what works. Slowly rising back up, taking your block to the side. Then switching it out. Right leg long, bend the left knee, left sole of the foot comes into the right inner thigh. Having your block handy, taking the hands to the floor, use that kind of grip on the floor to just gently turn the torso to the right so your sternum lines with your knee. Slowly melting your heart forward. When you reach that edge, possibly taking a block just to rest on the shin, letting the forehead rest to the block. Deep breaths in and out. Start to lift back up, removing your block, walking yourself all the way up, and now straightening out both legs. And this is a nice place to use a blanket, or if you have pillows or something, you can take a blanket and just kind of roll it up a little bit so you have a little burrito kind of thing, and just take it just underneath your knees so your knees can kind of rest on top of it. I'm actually going to take mine a little longer and roll it up sideways. And this is just going to cause you to keep a gentle bend in your knee, which is going to make it a little less of an intense stretch and more of a restorative pose. So bringing your inner thighs, knees together, sit up tall, and then again, just melting your heart forward towards your thighs. Finding your edge wherever that might be, and just releasing the head and neck down. Breathing for 5 breaths in and out. Start to bring it slowly back up. Go ahead and remove the blanket from underneath you. This time, bending the knees, bring the soles of the feet to the floor, scooch the hips a little bit more forward, and then just slowly lower the back all the way down onto the mat. Having a blanket or a block handy will be really nice here. We're gonna move into a supported bridge pose. So feet are about hips distance. Walk them in towards your glutes. Grounding down through the feet, press your lower back into the mat, having either a blanket or a block nearby. Press to lift the hips up. You could take a blanket and just gently rolling it up again, let it sit underneath your sacrum, and then just settle the hips down. This can be really restorative and just very nice, just a slight lift in the hips. If you want a little bit more in that supported bridge and you have a block, bringing the block just to rest so the flat part of your sacrum is resting on top of the block. And you can experiment with lengths. Again, if you have a block, you could do lower setting, maybe higher setting. Just find one that works for you. And then relax your hands down by your sides. Closing your eyes for a moment and just allowing the openness of the hips to happen, the expansion of the front body. Breathe. 5 breaths in and out. And slowly pressing back into the feet to lift your hips just a little higher so you can remove your block or your blanket, whatever it was you had underneath you. Roll 1 vertebrae at a time back down to the mat. From here, taking your left leg long. This is where if you have a strap or even some sort of clothing like a shirt or a sweatshirt, you can grab that if you want. You might not even need it, but again, this makes it a little more gentle to have the prop. So left leg long. Right leg extends straight up. Taking your strap, or again, maybe your shirt, just wrap it around the ball of your foot. And then settling the shoulders, the back of the head back to the mat. Just straighten out the arms and pull on either edge of the strap or maybe your shirt. From here, this might be enough for you. This is already a nice stretch for the back of the leg. It's very gentle, very restorative. If your body's asking you for a little bit more, you can pull your strap slowly closer to you, starting to bend the elbows and just bringing the knee closer to your chest. Take 5 more breaths. Slowly release bending the knee, removing the strap from the foot. Go ahead, lengthen the right leg back out onto the mat. Switching sides, bringing your left knee in, wrapping your strap maybe, or your garment around the ball of the foot, and then stretching out the leg. So the sole of the foot is facing the ceiling. Just grabbing either end of the strap, keeping your shoulders melting into the floor, and you can stay here just with your left foot flexed. Again, this is opening up the back of the leg, and it's even lubricating your left hip joint a little bit. If you feel called to, you can bend your elbows a little bit more and draw the knee closer towards your chest. Couple more breaths here. Bend your knees, slowly release. Letting your strap come over to the side, just releasing that, you don't need it anymore. And then bending your knees once more, hug the knees all the way in towards your chest and just gently rock right to left, side to side, massaging out the back of your hips, massaging your lower back, your spine. Take your hands, grab the tops of your knees, and just start to take your knees in circles, circling them all the way to the right and around. You can even have your eyes closed here. And then switch the direction of your circles. Hugging your knees all the way back into the chest. Take a big breath in, and then take your knees out. So you're making a 90-degree angle with your legs here, sort of like a tabletop with the legs. Keeping your shoulders down on the mat, arms come out like a T, palms facing the floor. Flex your toes, big breath in on your exhale. Let both knees lower over to your right side. And then just gaze out over your left shoulder. 3 more breaths. Inhale to bring the legs all the way back up through center into that tabletop position. And then same thing as you exhale, both knees all the way over to the left, gazing over your right side. Inhale to come back to center, tabletop. And then lifting your arms up, grab the outer edges of your feet for happy baby. Draw the knees down towards the outsides of your rib cage. Press your tailbone into the mat. Release your shoulders, close your eyes. Breathing deeply. If you'd like, you can play with rocking side to side. And then slowly release the feet, allowing your legs to just grow long onto the mat. Arms down by your sides, rock your head just gently right to left. And then taking your right hand, bring it just over your heart, left hand just over your belly. Closing your eyes. Finding that equal pace of inhalation and exhalation again. Inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold at the top. Exhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold at the bottom. Inhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold at the top. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Take 5 more breaths just like that. Take your hands down by the sides. Start to wiggle out your fingers, your toes. Bend your knees, bringing the feet back to the floor. Allow your knees to just windshield wiper right to left a couple of times. And gently just roll over on to your right side, pressing yourself back up to just a comfortable seated position. Sitting up tall, bring your hands just to rest on top of the knees with the palms facing up. Close your eyes, soften the muscles of the face. Take a big breath in through your nose. Open your mouth, sigh it out. Again, inhale through the nose. Open your mouth, let it go. Last one, inhale through the nose. Open your mouth, let it go. Bring hands to heart center, palms pressing together. Bow your head. Namaste.